Good afternoon, my beautiful souls, my wanderers. I'm a wanderer, and that's a blessing. Title of this video is How to Let Go of Fear of Death, Fear of Loss, or to overcome the mourning process when you lose someone that's close and dear to your heart. My sister just died a week and a half ago. She struggled from drug addiction and it ended up costing her life. And she wanted out every day. I would talk to her a few times a month. And she wanted out, but she couldn't find a way out. And that sucks. Because I wanted to help her. I thought I was going to be the one that helped her, that saved her. But I didn't. Do I hold that regret in my heart? Not consciously, no. I know that we all come here for a reason. And sometimes that reason sucks. Sometimes it's just to experience death, to experience loss, and to feel what it's like to lose somebody, you know? Like my aunt, for example, she's lost her husband, her daughter, like 4 people. I'm not going to name them all, but 4 people. And you have to ask, like, damn, maybe that's what you came here to experience. Maybe that was the lesson for your soul, was to go through that mourning process, that loss, and overcome it. You know, when my sister died, it was weird as hell because the night before, I had a weird phone call from the city my sister lives in, so I figured it was her. And I was just like, you know what? Something's telling me, don't answer this. So plus I was already halfway asleep. So the day goes on, you know, the next morning, do my morning routine, go throughout my day. Don't even think about the phone call from yesterday. They even left the voicemail, but I didn't even bother checking it. It wasn't on my mind. And then I had this thought, just randomly. I was like, damn, my sister's dead. Like, I literally had this thought. I said, wow, my sister's dead. I hope that's not true. 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes later, my sister, who I'm living with, comes in my room, bawling her eyes out, and I already knew. It's like, Lindsay's dead. She said, yeah. That's fucked up. But that's life. And in order to understand death and accept death, you have to understand life. And we didn't come here to suffer. Not one bit. Came here to experience everything. The good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the love, the hate, the up, the down, the left, the right, the within, the without. All that. That's what we came here to experience. And that's all it is, an experience. And one day you're going to die. And you're going to be standing outside your body. You might be confused in the moment. But then it's all going to make sense. And you're going to be like, I remember now. What? Oh man, I took this shit too seriously. Let me do it again. Let me get another chance. And that's what's going to happen. And then the person that you lost is going to be there waiting for you, kind of giggling at you, saying, wow, you fucking wasted so much time mourning me. So much time. You could have had a great life, but you sat there wallowing in your sorrow over my loss, when all I wanted for you was to get over it and to move on with your life and to know that I was there with you, just not in the physical. And I was supporting you all along the way. And every thought that you had about me that said, let me go, move on, was me. It was me. But you, your ego, was so latched on to that person, to that thought, that they weren't supposed to go, that you couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me. But this is a message for them people that are having a hard time letting go of that loss. Maybe your loved one that you lost channeled through me for me to send this message to you. And that's how this universe works. We are all connected through this web of consciousness. Whether that makes sense to you or not, just know your awareness, everything that you're seeing, is not created inside the mind. Your mind is a receiver. It's like an antenna, and it picks up this consciousness and it projects it outward. But I'm not going to get into all that because I don't want to lose you. But just know that the person that you lost is so happy right now, is surrounded by unconditional love, and wouldn't even think twice of coming back here, even to satisfy you, to help you get over your loss. Because that's one thing you came here to learn. And just know, the deeper the struggle, that's how you know that this is your soul lesson. Because it's so powerful and it consumes you. I myself struggle with addiction. And every time I let something go, I would pick something else up. You know, whether it was consciously or unconsciously. So I was just replacing things. And right now, you know, because I used to be a heroin addict on the street, I was actually using with my sister who just passed away. And by the grace of God, I was able to escape it. But she ended up going back to it. And I asked myself, why? What makes me so special? Why wasn't I right along with her? You know? And then the only thought I have is, well, you have a purpose. Not that she didn't. She served her purpose. But your purpose is to share with others what you've learned. And to help them overcome whatever it is they're struggling with. But first, you have to quit identifying with your thoughts. You have to. You are not your thoughts. The job of the mind is to think. The job of the soul is to be aware. Aware that this is all going on. That's it. It's awareness. You are the awareness. You are not the thoughts. You are not the mind. You are not the body. You're only the awareness. And once you could just accept that, that's when you get over everything that you're going through. And you quit identifying. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm still struggling with it. Like, I am perfectly aware that I am the awareness. I am the soul. I am the spirit. I am the light inside me. And the thoughts are just happening. The body is just here for me to have this experience. So I should quit identifying with every thought that I have, because it's not me. It's not who I am. And I still struggle with it. But the more that I tell myself this, because there's only two ways to change. Through hypnosis and through repetition. Now I'm actually working on getting my certificate for hypnosis. But until then, I just use the repetition, you know? Repetition. Just tell yourself, every time you have a low vibrational thought or a bad thought, and you feel some type of way, like that emotion comes, just embodies you, tell yourself, like, I am not my thoughts. That thought has nothing to do with me. And the reason why it made me feel the way I felt when I had that thought was because that thought was out of alignment with who I truly am. Just remember that. And every time you have a certain thought and it makes you feel low, down, sad, low vibration, dense, that thought is out of alignment with your true being, your authentic self. And a lot of us don't know who our true authentic selves are because we're so concerned about living up to everybody else's expectations of us and who we think they think we are. So we try to be who we think they think we are. And we fucking just make ourselves miserable. So the key is to just letting go and knowing that there's 8 million people on this planet right now. And each one of those individuals has a different opinion on who the fuck you are. So you're living up to 8 million different expectations and not your own. And that right there is going to fucking make you depressed. So cut the bullshit and just start living up to your own expectation. Find out what your values are, what your beliefs are, and your expectations. And ask yourself, how are these serving me? How are these serving my highest good? And if they're not, then you need to let them go. And how you let them go is repetition. Just repetition. Say, that thought doesn't serve my highest good, and I release it for healing and transmutation. I do that repeatedly. People think I'm crazy because I talk to myself. Well, I don't talk to myself. I talk to my higher self, and then I talk to my spirits. Because we are loved, and we are supported, and we are never alone. Even when we feel alone. You are never alone. And I support you. I truly support you. But that don't mean nothing until you start supporting yourself. And maybe that's what you came here to learn. How to support yourself, how to love yourself, how to accept yourself. That's a lesson you're going to be learning your whole time on this planet. And it's probably in your best benefit to just accept it and know that it's going to be there. And every time you're aware of it being there, you learn to let it go. And I guarantee you, each and every time you do that, there's going to be a larger gap in between them thoughts. Meaning they won't come as frequently. You guys are so powerful. You're just not aware of it. And if you knew how powerful your thoughts are, you wouldn't let a thought escape your... you wouldn't let a thought pass your mind that you didn't want to experience. If you knew how powerful your thoughts are, you would check your ass in the door and say, oh, I don't want to experience that. I let that go. But then we identify with the thoughts and we think, oh man, I am that. But you're not. You're a beautiful being. Made through the image of God. You're a mini God walking around and you don't even know it. Once you start acknowledging it, then it will become true. Because remember, our lives are created through our beliefs, through the shit that we spend our time thinking about. So if you constantly tell yourself that you're weak, that you're not good looking enough, that you're too fat, or you're too skinny, or you're too this, or you're too that, you identify with that, and that's how you're going to identify with yourself. And then everything in your outer reality, your world, is going to reflect that. So, you're not your thoughts. Just keep on telling yourself that, and I promise life will get better. Either way, I love making these videos. I truly do. Because everybody who I come in contact with needs help, right? For some reason, I just attract people that love telling me their life story. Out of nowhere. I don't understand it. But I do understand it because I know that's why I was brought to this planet. It was another reason. I'm a healer. And I just came here to hold space for all the people that are experiencing trauma. And maybe that same thing happens to you. People just randomly come up to you and just start sharing their life story or something that they're going through. Some dark time. And I'm here to tell you that they don't need you to say anything. They don't need to hear anything. They just want you to listen to them. That's it. Just listen. Hold the space for them. And just tell them that you support them. And then after they're done talking and you want to say, well, do you want any advice from me? And if they say yeah, then yeah, give it to them. Either way, I love you guys. Please subscribe, share. Maybe someone needs this video. I don't know. I needed it.